What's up, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and this is an interesting topic as it really opens up a lot of what's going on kind of in the dating scene. In particular, Tinder is now adding a height preference. And I'll cut through all of the nonsense and say this is for women who specifically want a tall guy. I don't think there's anything wrong with somebody having preferences. But I wonder if they would roll out a weight filter, or a divorcee filter. And obviously, the answer is no. This is a tool so that women can filter out short men. And again, it's kind of a dangerous, slippery slope because people's preferences are people's preferences. I think it would be foolish to be limiting, your potential soulmate by if they're an inch too short. But I guess I'm not rabidly addicted to dating apps. Trust Fund 65 Blue Eyes may be the lyrics of the viral TikTok song that took the world by storm last year, but it could soon be a Tinder filter. The dating app is reportedly tapping into pop culture's fixation on tallness by testing a feature that would let users set up their height preferences. Only Tinder Gold and Premium subscribers in the test group can access the feature, according to TechCrunch, which first reported the development. Now, I'm going to guess, maybe I'm wrong. I'm going to guess that almost 80 to 90% of people that pay money for Twitter are men. I'm going to guess that they're like, how can we get women to pay for Tinder? And so they rolled out this filter for them. There's no filter for, hey, I don't want, a white mom with a sleeve of tattoos and an interracial baby from a previous relationship. There's no filter for that. There's no filter for cup size or waist size or weight. I mean, if we're going to do it, let's do it, right? Men, I'm sure, and women for sure, use all sorts of techniques. I think if you're Tinder, you should have a feature that I can block out cake face or AI filters on filters on people. I've seen a lot of pictures. I mean, it's a whole meme of like, you don't look like your picture. The company said it was just a preference rather than a hard filter. It means that it will only inform recommendations rather than block or exclude profiles. A screenshot shared on Reddit shows a new preference bar in settings that allows users to pick the preferred height of their matches, similar to an age filter. And again, I don't care, but why just height? Because this is just for men's height. Why not a weight one? That seems pretty reasonable. Or a divorce one, or a single mom one, or a single dad one. They wouldn't put that in because men would use that. Well, Tinder said in a statement to TechCrunch that height preference will not necessarily become a permanent feature. It will. The fact that it's been thrown out there and caused some concern among users. I 1000% would not have met my wife if this filter existed, one Reddit user posted, adding that they would have been filtered out immediately. As someone at 5'5", Godspeed to my fellow short kings. Glad to be out of it. They added another quip that Tinder might as well add junk size and an income filter as well and just get it over with. I agree. I mean, the dating market has become so transactional. I'm going to use a audio-visual enhancer here to explain why, why I believe that obviously this is just yet another, thing making dating an uphill battle for men specifically. Here, I would not pay for this feature specifically because almost every man I've met off apps has lied about his height to some extent. Why do you think that is? A filter only works if we're verifying men's heights. I don't even care about height, but if I did, I would still consider this filter useless. You do care about height. because you remembered the fact that they lied to you about it. While most of the criticism came from men, some women noted that height discrimination affects them too, a fact that often gets overlooked. A woman said several men she met on dating apps seem weirdly hostile to my not very tall height. Really? I doubt that's happened. You know, when they're smaller, everything looks bigger in their hands. You know, you date some girl who's 5'1". I mean, just think, you'd be gigantic. I'm just saying. But this is just another thing that's going to work against men. And Homath, which does excellent work, if you don't subscribe to him, he describes here essentially why dating apps already don't work. Why already they don't work.
Of fairness. We like to think that
here's how the dating market and dating apps work.
Interested in.
Please make it make sense.
Okay. Human beings are born with a sense of fairness. We like to think that the universe is fair and everything evens out, but it's not and it doesn't. We think that things work a certain way, but it's actually just a feeling that we need to have. Otherwise, life would be a nightmare. We like to believe that there is someone out there for everyone.
So in this chart, you know, a 10 will date a 10 and maybe a 9. A 9 will date a 10, 9, and an 8. An 8 will date a 9, 8, 7, right? And it goes both ways, right, for women. A 10 will date a 10, maybe a 9. 9 will date a 9, maybe a 10, maybe even an 8. But that's not how it works. This is how it really works in hypergamy. Here you have a 10. He is going to date a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, because he's only interested in hooking up. And then what happens is all these 7, 6, 5, 4s, and even 8s, they think, well, I should get a 10. Right? And these men aren't interested. So these men here, 4, 3, 2, 1, may as well not exist. Women always have some level of interest. A 4 will date a 3, 2, or a 1. 4 man or a 5 will date a 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1. Just because this is value.
But in reality, it's only a few guys that are attractive to all the girls. The
Correct.
rest of these guys are practically invisible until they do something extra and then you notice them.
Like they have a big fancy job, or they're high earner, or they're funny. You know, these are other things like that.
In other words, they have to make up for their lack of attractiveness by being extra nice. That means that all women dream of being with just a few exciting men, so
Right.
there's not enough to go around. So if we match 1 to 1, that means that most women will never get what they're looking for. This used to work better because women kind of had to get married when they had less power, so most people would match 1 to 1. But
Right.
now that you have your own money, we don't match 1 to 1 anymore. We threw all those rules out the window, and now everything is a mess. Because women are no longer marrying who they must, and instead they are pursuing who they want, and it's all the same few guys. Let's say this is you.
Does that make sense? This is why he's such a good subscribe. This is literally the modern dating app. And so now we're going to add, well, now you have to be tall too to get a chance.
This is the guy that you're looking for, and he isn't interested in committing because he's got all the attention he can handle, and so does he. And here is the guy who's looking for you, and you're not interested in him, and neither is anyone else, except maybe her, but then he doesn't want to commit to her either. To make matters worse, dating apps give people the illusion of more options than they really have. So when you say,
Please make it make sense.
that is your brain trying to believe that people naturally pair off with someone at their own level. But that's not how nature works. Nature makes all the women want these few men, and then these men want these women who are not interested because they want Prince Charming, although
Right.
Prince Charming is busy. And then these girls way down here are pursuing these guys who don't want to be seen with them. People love
I mean, that's exactly right. You know, It's exactly how this works.
compared to almost 90% of women. So this
Here,
is
this
theory.
part too.
Only 40% of men reproduce compared to almost 90% of women. So this is not new. It's just what male mammals do when nothing stops them. And if you want to go back to everyone matching one by one, then you have to go back to the rules that made it happen. But you said you didn't like those. So the reason that people no longer pair up one by one is that sexual freedom makes society collapse. This guy wrote a book about it. And just look at him. He tried to warn you. Here, I know none of you are going to read this. The whole of human history does not contain a single instance of a group becoming civilized unless it has been absolutely monogamous, nor is there any example of a group retaining its culture after it has adopted less rigorous customs.
It's quite, I mean, and so adding this new height filter, and of course people online are like, haha, dudes. I mean, you have Tinder versus reality. I mean, yeah, that's all of this stuff. These, you hear Sarah Sense on her, Tinder's adding a height filter so women can filter out men of a certain height. Let's be fair then, add a weight filter for men to filter out women. Or a baby mama filter. I mean, this is, I mean, get out and meet people. But, when men say they have a hard time out there dating these days, I used to be like, well, you have all these apps. Now I know it's absolutely an impossible task.